One of the most important aspects of dating in a man's dating life is to get the first date right. If you are getting a lot of first dates, but you're not getting second dates, or you are getting ghosted after a first date, then that means that the first date is the problem, and you might be making some very common dating mistakes that lead to being ghosted or not getting a second date. If you're new here, my name is Sebastian. I'm a dating coach for men with over 7 years of in-field dating experience and also over 3 years of coaching experience. You can check out my testimonials. There is a link in the description to my website, so you know that everything that I'm going to be sharing with you today does indeed bring results and is indeed something you should definitely listen to and take notes of. Now let's talk about the 5 common dating mistakes that are destroying first dates and that are really destroying men's dating lives every single day. Literally, as you're watching this video, there are tons of guys out there making these mistakes right now. So it's very important that you don't do this yourself. The first thing that I always see, that I always have to mention to guys, that whether they come to my private mentorship courses or whether I just meet them on the street or I even see a date from across the restaurant, is that a lot of them are not really putting any effort into their physical appearance. That doesn't necessarily mean that you got to work out every single day and look like John Cena or Dwayne Johnson, right? You absolutely don't. However, you should be going to the gym if you are a little bit out of shape, because your clothes are going to look better on you, you're going to feel more healthy, and girls are naturally attracted to athletic men. So go to the gym because it is going to increase your level of attractiveness. Now, another thing that follows up on this is personal hygiene and also grooming. Make sure that you have a great haircut. Make sure that you look your absolute best when you go out on a date, that you have a nice cologne, that you smell good, that you look good, that your style is on point, that your clothes aren't creased, okay, that you don't have any stains on your clothes. Because if all of those things are off, a woman will notice it. And if she notices it, it is going to turn her off from you and from the way that you present yourself. Now, moving away from the physical and going into the actual conversation, the biggest problem that guys make on dates is that they lack active listening. Active listening simply refers to you consciously being focused on the woman in front of you, listening to what she is saying to you, actually taking it in, being interested in her rather than spacing out, thinking about other things or thinking about sex and thinking ahead. You absolutely cannot do that. You should be focusing on what she's talking about, and that is going to show her that you're interested in her and that you want to listen to her and hear her opinion on things and also learn about her. All of those things are also going to improve the conversation because you're going to be able to then pick out certain topics of the conversation that you want to talk about, and that is going to make it more flirtatious, more fun, and you're going to be able to build better connections. Also, do not be worried about what to say next, so don't think ahead about what you should be talking about. Just simply listen, take in the information, and then pick out whatever you really found interesting to listen to, and then you can have a conversation about that or share a story of your own that is following up on the topic. Of course, if the topic is boring, you can ask a different question or you can make a statement about something else to then shift the direction of the conversation. But if you're not listening, you won't be able to do that because you'll be distracted. Next big mistake is not making the date fun. So a lot of the time, a guy will go out on a date with a girl, he will not really talk to her that much, he will not be actively listening or asking questions about her, he will just kind of be there without really being there, not being that present and not really being active on the date. And a lot of the time, this is because the guy has absolutely no idea what to do, because he either didn't make a plan or because he just doesn't really understand the dynamics of a date. This can also happen if you're just going out for drinks and you're not actually doing anything at all except sitting across from each other and maybe the venue is quite loud. And in those situations, that can really stifle the date and stifle the development of attraction. So a quick tip to actually get away from making this mistake is to add a fun activity to your date. That doesn't have to be anything extravagant. That can be something simple as going to play some pool or going to play some bowling or going to an arcade. It really depends on the woman that you're going out on a date with. So you should kind of gouge out what she's into before you set up that date, so that you're not taking her to something that she is completely uninterested in, or something that she doesn't really like to do, or she's really bad at, right? That's actually going to make her feel bad or not enjoy the date. You should ideally know before you schedule something in, like an activity, what she's into, what she enjoys, what she likes to do, so that when you are doing that activity, she's going to have an amazing time. And then you guys can talk about that afterwards when you go out for a drink. That will be your second venue for the date. And you can really become a little bit more intimate, and you're already going to have the development of a connection, and you can have an experience together. Another bad thing that guys do, especially when they're nervous, is that they talk a lot about themselves. They again lack that listening ability. They talk too much about themselves, they overshare, they don't actually listen to what the girl is saying. And it really isn't a great date because it's very one-sided from your side, and it can feel like she isn't really on the date with you. It almost feels like you're on a date with yourself, because all you want to do is talk about yourself and kind of show off. And that is a really bad thing. What you actually should be doing is making sure that you are listening more than you are talking. That is a very important tip. So remember that. Listen more, talk less. Ask open-ended questions and then listen and respond. That is going to make the date far better, and it's actually going to enable her to relax with you, get comfortable with you, and then you can tease her on the things that you are listening to. Women love to talk, let them. Number 5, the worst mistake that a guy can do on a first date that is going to instantly turn the girl off, and that is going to get her to block him, and she will absolutely tell every single one of her friends about that date and about how bad it was, is the following. Coming on too strong or being overly eager. That means that you are trying way too hard to impress her, you're trying way too hard to get the sex, and that can show a lot of desperate energy, a lot of neediness, and it can actually be quite creepy as well. So what you want to do is make sure that everything that happens on a date is calibrated and slowly builds up depending on how the date is developing. The best thing that you can do is to look at her body language, listen to her voice, listen to how engaged she is and how she's looking at you. And if you're getting a lot of positive signals, then you can slowly escalate physical touch. You can slowly escalate how you talk to her. You can become a little bit more intimate. You can maybe lower your tonality, get a little bit closer to her if things are going really, really well. But you don't want to jump from 0 to 100 very quickly. So for example, if you're talking about how her week went, and if you're talking about your job after, and if there is very limited escalation in that moment, and then you just try and go for a kiss, it's 99.9% of the time not going to work, because there isn't a steady level of progression of intimacy, and you're just not at that point yet. So if you're trying to be overly eager, it is going to stifle your date. It's going to turn her off. It can potentially make you look like a creep. If you continue to do this, and if you continue to be trying to be very sexual all the time, instead of just relaxing and letting the date play out naturally and being chill and calm and letting the vibe develop. Those are the big 5 common mistakes that guys are making all the time on first dates. Make sure that you don't do any of these if you want to land the second date. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave it a like. If you're new here, then of course subscribe and hit the bell notification, because videos like this are coming out every single week, and they are going to truly help you to improve your dating life. And if you want to see some testimonials, check out my website right now. Link is in the description. That's it for this video. Thanks for checking it out. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.